Welcome back, guys. Gonna hit you with another episode of fleet maintenance. Got the '08 Chevy Aveo behind us, and it unfortunately is running a little rough. Just got a P0300 random misfire. After checking everything I could think of, from fuel pressure to spark plugs and wires, couldn't figure it out. Finally, a smoke test revealed that it was a vacuum leak. So we're leaking from the valve cover gasket and the intake manifold gaskets. So that's what we're doing today. Got intake manifold gaskets, got a valve cover gasket. Hopefully this goes smoothly because it's cold out and I don't want to do this. So wish me luck. Hope you guys stick around and maybe this will help someone. Rock and roll. Thanks for watching.
As always, keep in mind that I don't know what I'm doing. So I think my plan of attack is going to be remove the coolant fill cap just to make sure I'm not dealing with anything pressurized. And then I guess I'll start trying to remove the air box and intake tube, whatever sensors are there, and just trying to work my way down to the intake manifold. I'm going to tackle that one first because I think it's going to suck. Here we go.
Okay, status update. I'm doing my best to like show you guys like every bolt and every connector and whatnot and how the connectors work, because I know that kind of stuff can really ruin your day if you're trying to do this as well. And again, I don't know what I'm doing, so this may not be the best way, but we'll see if we can get through this together. Anyway, I couldn't really show this one. I think this is the throttle position sensor, and I'm still not all that sure how this is supposed to work. You can see there looks like there's a little retaining tab in there, and I'm assuming that that little guy is supposed to actuate, but I could not get that to do anything. So I was able, and again that goes, can you see? It goes right there. I was able to get it by just really gently taking a flathead. Here's a flathead I used, and just lifting up on the edge of that and just kind of gently pressing it. And as soon as it was past it's whatever's retaining it, this little thing, there's a little piece of plastic right there. As soon as it was past that, I just grabbed it with my hands and slid it off. So that worked for me. I'm sure there's a way you're supposed to do it, but anyway. The only other thing I think you guys may not have seen was this vacuum hose thing coming off of that. Right there. So now I think I'm getting close to trying to actually pull the intake manifold off, I guess. I don't know the order of operations, so I'm going to stare at it for a while, and if I come up with anything, you'll see it here. Wish me luck. Hopefully you guys can see this. I don't know if I showed this on camera or not, but I did relieve the fuel pressure. I think I tried. There's a little, like a Schrader valve on the end of the fuel rail. You just, like a bicycle tire, has a little cap on it. You just take the little cap off and you can, I just used the flathead to push in the Schrader valve and drain the fuel pressure into a little bowl. Now I'm hoping to just pull the fuel rail, leave the injectors in the rail, and just pull the injectors out of the intake manifold. That's my hope, and I also hope that there isn't a bunch of fuel pressure, so wish me luck. This might not go very smoothly. Oh wow, I'm pleasantly surprised. That popped right out of there. I don't know if it gained me anything, because I can't get it past the intake manifold, but I'm gonna do some finagling and see if I can get that out of there. That might actually help. So, yay! That was good. Okay, so after some staring at it and finagling and whatnot, I was able to get the fuel rail and injectors up out of the way. There's really no secret to that. I just kept wiggling it until it finally kind of gave way for me. been staring at it, and it really looks like I may have to take this alternator out of the way. At least maybe this bracket that holds it. I don't know, and it's starting to kind of look like I may even have to take some of maybe the heater core line. So, goodness, starting to look like I may have to drain the coolant, which is a bummer. So, not sure. Just gonna keep struggling. I think the next step is try to get some of the alternator stuff out of the way so I can get a better look at what's going on, because I just cannot get to the bolts on the bottom of the intake runner tubes yet. So I guess keep pecking away. Rock and roll, wish me luck.
What a power stance.
Oh, you have the camera? So, I think you guys saw just a minute ago we took the throttle body off. I didn't want to do that because there's a gasket in there and I don't have one, but I don't know. Maybe it was a good idea, maybe it wasn't. The idea right now is, now we have the throttle body off, we're going to loosen the pivot bolt, I'm going to call it, on the bottom side of the alternator, and then maybe we can just rotate the alternator back and take that top bracket off, and then maybe we'll finally have some room to kind of snake our arm and extensions and whatever we need back in there to finally get to those bottom intake manifold bolts. That's our idea anyway. I don't know if you can see this. We'll see if we can. I'm gonna grab a light. We'll aim it up there so you can at least see what I'm talking about. Or maybe you don't need a light. Do you need a light?
I can see it.
You can? Okay, so we're just loosening.
That was bad.
Can you not see now?
No.
How about now?
Yeah.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna loosen this a little bit. And you'll have to hold, it's a bolt that goes all the way through it, and that's the nut, so you'll have to hold the other side. At least that's our idea. Loosen it, and then hopefully we can pivot the alternator back and give us a little clearance. That's the plan. Wish us luck. Holy shit. Ow. Sometimes you just gotta sacrifice the hands. Hopefully this works. Oh, we finally have a little bit of room. Oh, maybe we can reach now. Okay, hopefully you saw in the last clip, that actually gave us a little bit of room. So, again, I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it. Maybe this is more work than what you're supposed to do, I don't know. But now we got Kayla. She's trying to get on, using her little hands, seeing if she can get on these nuts, or maybe they're bolts, I'm not even sure yet. But basically, there's one on each side, right here. There's one in between each runner that we can see. And then I think on the bottom, they're like right in the middle of the runner on the bottom. I think. It's hard to see them.
I'm on this one.
But now Kayla's working on getting those off, so thank you, Kayla. Okay, so after much fighting and finagling, I think we finally got this last pesky bolt. Oh my goodness. So for us, I don't know if we showed this or not, but I ended up taking this guy off. Well, I didn't really take it off, I just undid this side. It's just two little nuts right here. Just two nuts, and that popped off. And then you can kind of just push it out of the way. And then the magic formula here, Kayla, for us was this combination of a deep well 3/8 12 and a short 3/8 extension. So it's like 5 inches. So get you some type of concoction that's roughly 5 inches. And then we went with this metal thing pushed out of the way. We went behind it like that, and we're able to get a wrench with a pipe on it to finally get that loose. So that was a bear. And honestly, I think the right thing to do probably is there's like a heater core line back there, I think I may have mentioned, that goes on to the head between these two runners. And what you should probably actually do is just remove that, and you could probably reach that bolt from this side where we made all this room. I just did the timing belt and water pump on this thing, and I just really didn't want to drain the coolant again. So we're suckers for pain. But I think now we just need to take off that bracket, that support bracket on the underside, and then this thing might finally come off. We certainly hope so anyway. So wish us luck. Rock and roll. Yikes. And that's why we're doing this. Maybe it was worth our while. Okay, so we finally got this thing out. I don't know if we captured everything, so I'm gonna just give you a quick walk around of the things that maybe got lost in translation. Again, this channel's not a how-to, but I actually I tried to find videos on this before I started and I couldn't find any. And you might point me to some that are really good, and this I'm not saying is a good one, but I'm just trying to document what we did in case someone else is looking. So, one of the things you may not have seen is there's this little vacuum line and it's stuck down in here. I just took a little pick and loosened it up and then a little WD-40 and slid it out. Other than that, we left this thing on there and this thing was fighting us the entire time. And the reason we couldn't get it was because we couldn't see these brackets. We could feel them. And in my head, I would assume that this fastener that you can see would be the same on this part as this fastener, but it is not. These appear to be Torx, and I was trying to blindly cram Allen keys into them, and that's why we couldn't get it. Again, this all may not be a big deal. Let me sit this off to the side. If you look back here, your heater core line, let me grab a light. This heater core line, or hose, if you took this off and just drained all your coolant, you could probably reach all the bolts that fought us the whole time from that side where we made clearance. You wouldn't have to worry about this, and I don't even know what this is, but this guy that was fighting us, it goes underneath that, so if you took that off, you probably wouldn't have to worry about this thing. So really, we made this more difficult on ourselves than we had to because I'm cheap and I didn't want to drain the coolant that I just put in. It probably has like 20 miles on it. But anyway, I hope that maybe saves someone some time. And you can see we definitely needed to replace these. They all look terrible, and that was probably our Misfire right there. So, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna replace these. Maybe I'll do the valve cover while we're here. The valve cover gasket, that is, I don't know if I'll film that or not. That's literally just take these bolts out, put the other valve cover gasket in, put it back on. But maybe you'll just see time lapse. But yes, we finally got it. Thank you. Rock and roll. I hope this helps. All right, show us what you got. So we cleaned up the throttle body. Oh yeah, nice and shiny.
There's one thing.
Looks pretty good. You saw us clean up the gasket surface and mating surface on the intake manifold. And then hopefully you can see, maybe if I come over here. We also tried to clean up the mating surface on the head. Can you see that? Not perfect, but it's pretty good. Passes the fingernail test. You can't feel anything. Hit it with a razor blade and then some carb cleaner. So I guess I'll go ahead and do the valve cover next. Valve cover gasket. So here we go. Okay, so I know we said that we were gonna change the valve cover gasket, and you saw us pop the valve cover off, and you can see our pristine 102,000 mile engine here. Actually looks in great shape as far as I can tell. So you can see that there's like RTV, or actually I don't even know, it's not RTV, I don't remember what I used. I did this, that's why the gasket looks brand new. I did this very recently, but when we put the smoke test machine on there looking for the vacuum leak and we found the intake manifold gasket leak, the guy that did the test for me said that the valve cover was also leaking, so like a vacuum leak, and he suggested that I take it off and replace it, because I guess you're not supposed to use like RTV type stuff on, I think he's called these neoprene gaskets, and I guess they don't play nicely, and eventually the RTV will start eating up the gasket, but I don't know. That's what he said. I believe him. He's a real mechanic. I don't know what I'm doing. But we don't see any leaks, and as you can tell, the RTV held the gasket on, and we kind of poked and prodded at it, and it looks fine. And there was an injector wire pinched in the valve cover, like when we were tearing it all apart, and that is probably what the leak was. So I don't imagine that, even if this is eating the gasket, I don't think it's ruined it yet. I think that the vacuum leak was probably the pinched wire in between the valve cover and the head. So probably just gonna put the valve cover back on. I mean, the gasket, as you can see, looks brand new because it is, and if that RTV ever does eat it and I develop an oil leak, the valve cover, huh?
We have a new one.
Yeah, we've already bought one, and then I'll clean the RTV off and won't put it back on. But yeah, I think just until then, I'm just gonna leave it. It's not, I mean, the valve cover gasket's one of the easier, knock on something, not generally too difficult to replace. It's not like you have to tear the car down this far to get to it. So yeah, that's my explanation. Go ahead and roast me in the comments as to why I shouldn't have done it, and so on and so forth, and maybe I'll learn something. So if you know why you're not supposed to use RTV with these gaskets, please let me know, and I'll be sure to share if this develops an oil leak in like a week. So I guess time to put this thing back together. Well, I think that's pretty much all there is to show. So I guess we're just gonna pop these gaskets back in and throw the new ones in, and hopefully you can enjoy a time lapse of us throwing her back together. So wish us luck. Okay, wow, that was not what I would consider fun. But the main thing that really hung us up was just not knowing what to do. So hopefully, you know, going back together was a lot smoother than taking it apart. say that. Anyway, we think she's all back together. I left the reservoir open because we did pull one of the coolant lines. We did not drain the coolant. Like, that was the reason I made this so difficult on myself, because I'm cheap and I did not want to have to spend a bunch of money on the coolant again. So we did pull 1 or 2 lines off the throttle body, so just gonna let it bleed just in case there's air in there. Who knows? Time to try to fire it up and see how many things we forgot. So hopefully she just purrs like a kitten. Fired right up. Yes. Thank God. Finally over. She fired right up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Kayla, for all your help. That was awesome. We did it.
Woo!
Yeah, woohoo. That wasn't very fun. I don't know why that one just kicked our butts. Usually this kind of stuff isn't that bad, but anyway. Hope you guys learned something or someone gets something out of this, and either way, hopefully you enjoyed laughing at our pain. So, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.
It has been a blast. We appreciate you watching.
Yes, as always. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to give us a subscribe.
Right here.
And if you want to see more of the project we worked on today,
Move it over here.
and if you want to see any of the other ill-guided automotive antics on the channel,
Click his gut.
or potentially here.
Right over space.
Thank you guys as always for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.